Hi. Today I want to talk about fear, because there's a lot of fear around at this time. Some of it is appropriate and some of it isn't. But how can we define what is healthy fear and what isn't? We often avoid feeling our fear because it feels really uncomfortable. But actually it's a really useful feeling. It's one of those flags that alerts us to avoid becoming reckless or cut off from ourselves. The change in lockdown last week has brought about a lot of fear and concern about what is safe, what isn't safe. People have been talking to me a lot about not understanding clearly what is what, which can create a lot of fear and then a lack of confidence. And the other side is being a bit devil may care, I'm just going to go out and do what I want. So it's just connecting up with our fear. Well, one of the things I decided to do was go off and do something that I'm really scared of. So I haven't ridden a bike for 10 years, but since lockdown, I decided that the best way to get about was to cycle. So I got this bike, and it's an electric bike, which is even more terrifying. And when I first got on it, I felt I couldn't... Oh, there's a bike coming. I felt I couldn't even go up the road. But now, after about 5 weeks of cycling, I feel a lot more confident, and it's really fun. It means I can stop wherever I want, but I feel great that I've achieved feeling confident again. Well, I'm loving cycling, and it's a great thing to have got confident again, but we put a camera on the bike, which is absolutely a new fear. But you know what? I've cycled up and down this road a few times and I feel much more confident, even though I've got this camera hanging on the end of the bike. This is just great. I'm so glad I got over my fear of cycling again. So I'm really pleased that I feel more courageous about riding a bike. I feel more confident. I know it's an electric bike, but you know what? You still have to use your legs, and it's still really brilliant exercise. And I think it's something I'm going to continue even when we come out of this lockdown phase completely. I mean, it's great. So it's a tick on my list of facing my fear and getting braver and feeling more courageous. Now, here's a really good exercise that I'm going to invite you to do. Grab a sheet of paper. You're going to need about 10 minutes for this. And just take that pause. Have a breathe. Don't rush. Don't censor. And just write down every fear that's in your mind. However random, weird, strange, off the wall it is, just write them all down. Free flow. Write anything you can think of. Give yourself that time to do that. When you've done that, have a read, and I'd like you to put them into 2 columns, and we're going to separate them out. Fears that are appropriate and sensible, and fears that are irrational and really not suitable and not worthwhile keeping. They're just scary, scary thoughts. So one of my ones was, I'm going to go and see my daughter, because I can now, and she's at high risk, and the sensible part of me goes, that's fine, we'll keep 2 meters away, we're going to be in the garden and we're going to have a cup of tea. My irrational fear goes, my mere presence may give her an illness. So I have to be able to separate the two out, because actually 2 meters apart, sitting outside, having a cup of tea, it's fine. So it's being able to separate out what is irrational fear and what is an appropriate fear. We now have got the list into 2, and when you've done that and you're satisfied, start to see what your fears are and think about the ones you might need to act on and find confidence for. So simple things like, maybe you've always wanted to bake a cake, maybe your cake making's been absolutely disastrous. I talk for myself, they always seem to go flat. But maybe you want to try and become more confident. One of the things I've learned is you need to really read a recipe and stick to it. So it's getting that confidence that yes, you can achieve that. It's the little things that we start to build up. Maybe you're frightened of learning a language. Maybe you don't think you're intelligent enough. Or maybe you just need to have a go at it. So look at your list, see what scares you, and then push it a little bit. And that's how we start to be more confident. It's a very slow, step-by-step process. Confidence, it's built pebble by pebble, stone by stone. It's a slow testing out, building that strength. It's a mental muscle, like going to the gym. Every time we step out of something that we're frightened of and we achieve it, we put another stone down. And so we build up confidence. Yes, it's a slow process, but actually, like me today with the bike, one day you realise you can just do it. It does demand your mind to work. It does demand a discipline. But I think we can overcome fears and use fears well to build that confidence up. I would have liked to have found an easy route to building my confidence, but I have tried everything, but the only thing I can find out is facing my fear and having a go, and that's the one that works. And I'd like a shortcut. I've tried for shortcuts, so I can't offer a shortcut other than if you're systematic and you start building slowly, step by step, facing the fear, moving forward, the confidence actually builds. And there is a difference between confidence and impulsiveness, but they kind of look the same. They're actually a different action. Confidence comes from feeling frightened, checking what you're frightened about, thinking, actually, I can move forward on that. It's not a stupid or an irrational thought, and you step forward, you build the confidence. Impulsiveness is when you go, I don't want to feel frightened, I'm just going to jump, and I'm not going to think about the consequences. They're different, they feel the same, but they're different, and they need to be checked. When we're impulsive, we do avoid our feelings, and that's where we can get ourselves into difficulties. And I have to admit, I've been impulsive and I've got myself into hot water, which is where I've learnt the difference between confidence and impulsiveness. So now I think it would be a good idea to write a list, look back in your life, see if you can put it into two again, and write down what you felt you were confident about and what you've just behaved in an impulsive way. By the way, some impulsive things do work, but they're hairy and they're edgy. So it's always that choice. Now, we're still in lockdown, and although it's easing up, and it's working out now how we can be confident in the new way and to resume a new life in a safe way. I think for most of us, confidence has been challenged, especially at a time in lockdown, where we don't quite know the rules and we don't know quite what we're stepping into. And I think as lockdown eases, we need to make our own minds up about what we can do and what is safe to do. And it is finding that inner strength and that inner confidence to be able to go out and meet people. And at this point, we're allowed to meet one other from another household and slowly build our lives again. Confident we're going to be fine and sure that we feel that inner strength. What I'd really like to hear what your thinking is, what scares you, what you've built your confidence on. I love to hear back because it always helps me think about, well, what next? What else can I talk about? What would you like me to talk about? What would be of interest to you? So I look forward to hearing, and I will see you next week.